Side. Quickly, gentlemen, some predictions. I guess I will bat leadoff. Hasim Rahman, that 81-inch reach. I think that's going to be a little bit too much. I like Rahman in a decision, Sal. Don't tell James.
Okay. All right. I'm going with the black guy. The black guy.
No prediction?
The one over 34.
You are not allowed back in the studio in L.A. No prediction. Weak. Bird?
I'm going with Hasim Rahman 12-round decision.
Oh, then I'm going with Toney.
No, forget it. You lost your turn.
I'm going with the white guy.
All right, we're going to go to Jay Glazer, your prediction, and it can't be that Brett Favre plays this September. What is it, Jay?
Hey. He's in shape.
All right, apparently Jay got our mic from a little bit earlier. That's the best way to watch Jay Glazer, is actually so you can't hear him. All right, so we will hear from you hopefully after the fight with analysis and interviews. But right now, let's send it to the men who will call tonight's bout ringside. That would be Barry Tompkins and Rich Marotta. Gentlemen.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. So maybe I can put this thing in perspective for you. The first time that I broadcast the James Toney fight was in 1991. I was 16 years old. James Toney, by that time, had already had 25 professional fights. So that's what I really like about this fight. He's still fighting. Rahman's a veteran. Honestly, I don't know who's going to win the fight.
Yeah, well, you know, opinion is very split amongst the media as to who will win tonight. In fact, opinion was very split as to who won their first fight. And the reason is this is two real professional prize fighters who know their way around that ring. And sometimes fighters, even if they're past their best days, when they meet in a fight, they stage a spirited battle. Felix Trinidad and Roy Jones Jr. did earlier this year. Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard fought 10 years after their first fight, and that was a good one. If it approximates that, I'll take it.
All right, well, let's take a look down at the tail of the tape and see how the numbers match up. And they match up rather evenly. Remember, Toney was a heavier fighter the last time he saw Rahman, and he did hold Rahman to a draw. Rahman looks absolutely fit to me, and I think there is a real bottom line to this fight, and that is that Toney must get inside the jab of Hasim Rahman, because I believe Rahman's jab may be the best in the heavyweight division. Let's take a look at the unified rules. 3 knockdown rule not in effect. No standing 8 count. Your fighter cannot be saved with a bell in any round. The referee or the doctor could stop the fight. And if the fight is stopped due to a headbutt, we will go to the cards at the end of the 4th round. Right now, let's take it to the center of the ring and Jimmy Lennon Jr. Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the Pachanga Resort and Casino here in Temecula, California, for our big night of action brought to you by Goose and Tudor Promotions. This bout coming your way is also made possible by Don King Productions and Top Rank Incorporated, and it is sanctioned by the NABO supervisor Mark Reels, along with the California State Athletic Commission, the chairman Tim Noonan, executive director Armando Garcia. Introducing our judges scoring from ringside, Pat Russell, Alejandro Rochin, and Jack Reese. And our third man to the ring, our referee in charge of this bout, Ray Corona. All right, fans, here we go with our featured bout of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant NABO Heavyweight Championship. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Pachanga Resort and Casino, it's time for the Best Damn Championship Fight Night Period main event of the evening. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with red trim, fighting out of Baltimore, Maryland. He weighed in at 244 pounds. His record stands at 45 wins, 6 losses, and 2 draws, with 36 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Hasim "The Rock" Rahman. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing silver trunks, fighting out of Sherman Oaks, California, by way of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He weighed in at a ready 226 pounds. His record 70 wins, 6 losses, and 3 draws, with 43 wins coming by way of knockout. As a world champion in 5 weight categories, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of boxing's great champions, introducing James Lights Out Toney. Once again, a referee in charge, Ray Corona, now to give instructions.
Peace. Listen, gentlemen, this is good right here, this is good right here. Listen to my commands. Touch gloves, touch them. God bless.
Between them, James Toney and Hasim Rahman have 32 years of experience, 152 pro fights, and 8 championship belts between them. And with all that behind them, it's not enough. They still want more. Who'll step forward to grab it is the question about to be answered.
Ready?
And with that, we are just about set to go. Toney, absolutely the veteran boxer. And Rahman, quite honestly, Rich, to me, seems to be a guy that can be about as good as he chooses to be.
Well, I feel that Hasim Rahman has the best tools in the heavyweight division. I believe he has the best jab in the heavyweight division. He has a great right. He's always been athletic. He gets around that ring well. Sometimes, however, he just doesn't put it all together. He's going right to that jab, and Toney will have to deal with that tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the job of Toney, is to get inside the jab. And we asked him about that today, and he said, I'll just keep coming. I'm not going to stop. That would, I would assume, would mean he's going to take a couple just to be able to get inside. But it is a solid jab. And, of course, he's got a great right hand to follow it.
Well, Toney feels that Rahman actually is a simple fighter. He feels his jab and then a right cross. He's what Angelo Dundee used to call a 1-2-3 fighter. That jab, jab, follow it with the right. But you can begin to time it. And James Toney is a master at timing.
So I think it really does come down to just who's got what left. I think it's that simple. I mean, Toney knows every trick in the book. He's a fighter who is not always spectacular, but what he does is win. And Rahman, when he does win, is very spectacular.
As you take a look at Toney, a lot of you heard that he was getting in shape, and he is in far better shape, even though he still looks a little pudgy around the waist, but much better shape than he has been in recent fights. The 226 pounds that he carried into the ring is the least he has weighed in a fight since he fought Evander Holyfield 5 years ago.
Which, oh, by the way, was his last knockout.
Toney looks to me like he's already attempting to set some traps here for Rahman.
Well, he does do all those little things. He's not doing much offensively. Threw out a little light left jab there a moment ago, but not much going on here in this first round. There was the jab in the right hand from Rahman.
And that's the first example of that. I thought Rahman would be a little more aggressive in this first round.
Toney looking to counter with the right hand. Rahman told us he was going to be aggressive in the early rounds. And so far that has not happened. We overuse the term last hurrah, and yet I think that is what this fight is all about. Body shot from Toney. And as Toney walks away, Rahman sticks him with the left hand.
Rock beginning to get that jab to work now, using it to good effect.
Well, Toney has got to find a way inside the jab. I mean, it is just that simple. It's a bottom line for him in this fight. Now, Toney will lull you into complacency. Interesting first round. Not much happened.
That's one. First round.
But they talk about ring generalship, and I think that would have to go to the corner of Rahman.
It looks like he's trying to size you up by just laying there, taking those jabs to the shoulder. Keep giving him the jab to the shoulder. But when you give him the jab to the shoulder, step off to the right. Don't stay there, okay? He tried to counter the one and it didn't work. Sorry. Okay? Good. Good work. Good work. Hey, it's a good round. Real good round. You hear me?
When you want to off the one, he's going one jab. And slide up like he was doing. Remember how you were sliding up? That foot, that left foot sliding up. Slide up. Yeah. But you see he's throwing ones. And he's slow as hell. okay?
Yes.
So, hey, take him to school like you're doing, okay? Take him to school.
Well, Toney said, I'm just warming up. I'm just warming up.
That was Shadid Saluki giving instructions between rounds to James Toney, no longer with his longtime trainer, Freddie Roach.
But an amicable parting, according to Toney.
James Toney says, I still love Freddie. Freddie's my man.
Yep.
But he's with Saluki for tonight's fight. And Shadid Saluki is no stranger to big-time fighting. He was the trainer of Layman Brewster and took Brewster to the World Championship.
And Toney worked with Brewster as one of his sparring mates. So Rahman came in here with a pretty simple idea of what it was that he needed to do to win tonight.
Strategically, I'm going to come out, establish my jab, use my height and reach to my advantage. I'm going to hit him where he can't hit me. And I'm going to do that for a number of rounds. And then I'm going to just pile up the points, shut him out, round after round after round. And then around about the 7th, 8th, 9th round, I'm just going for the kill.
Yeah, it's interesting that Rahman told us today that he feels he's got to knock him out. He will not be satisfied with the decision.
Because he wants to be spectacular tonight. He wants to really put himself back into the loop once again. And Rahman was very confident. I've never seen Rock this confident, actually. He said he feels he'll win every round.
Well, I gave him the first one, if that's any solace.
Again, just working behind that jab.
Toney not being very active, hands still at his side, not throwing a lot of punches, but maybe getting a little bit more into punching range. Right now, get a comment from Jake Glazer. Glazer, what do you got?
Guys, you're talking about that jab of Hasim Rahman. James Toney told me before the fight, first round or two, he wants to make sure that's what Rahman's strategy is going to be. Then you'll see me try and come down low to the body and overhand with that three. He said, if I'm going to get Hasim Rahman tonight, it's going to be countering under that jab, coming over top with that hook.
Yeah, seems like a pretty good idea to me. Thanks, Glaze.
And he got one in at close range there not that long ago. While Glaze was speaking there, a nice little punch from Toney, his first real offense that he's shown in the fight.
Well, and he is getting a little bit more here, Rich, into punching range. Now he's back at long range. That's where Rahman wants him. But most of this round, he's actually been a little bit closer than he was in the first round. That's really where he wants to be.
Let me caution you also that James Toney is usually a fairly slow starter. I mean, I remember he lost the first round big to Evander Holyfield, and the second round too, but that's when he began in the third round to really begin to take it on. And now Toney inviting Rahman in, hoping for a mistake.
Well, and that's not unheard of. Left hand thrown by Toney. There's a good sharp right hand by Toney.
I thought that one stunned Rock a little bit.
But again, Rahman is letting Toney get into his comfort zone.
Toney's beginning to make his presence felt now in the fight. It's just in the last 40 seconds or so things are beginning to happen for him.
And again, Rahman just not getting hit a whole lot. A good right hand there by Rahman at the belt.
As they start round three, both fighters landed big shots in round two. I thought that right hand by Toney was the best punch of the fight so far. But he also got tagged at Rahman right at the end of the round. Semi-landed that left hook. And that was nothing semi about that one.
No, not at all. In Rahman's corner, they told him he's trying to lure you in and you're falling for it. And I think there's something to that. Now let's see if Rahman goes to school on it.
Well, it goes back to what you said about lulling him to sleep. And now Rahman complaining of a headbutt. And referee Ray Corona just ignoring him.
Even fight so far on your card and on mine. But again, and I can't help but mention this, Toney is in his comfort zone. He's in his range.
Rahman wants to keep this fight at a distance. He wants to keep it an outside fight.
And there's a right hand by Toney. And Toney, look where he is. He is inside once again.
Toney is a master inside, and he will absolutely pick spots to hit you, to begin breaking you down. He did that with Holyfield.
And a cut over the left eye of Rahman, and I think it was caused by a headbutt. And it was another little push with the head by Toney right there. Another good shot right there by Rahman. And that cut is in a place where if it
goes on, it could be a problem. That is a pretty serious cut. It's over the top of the left eye. Good left hand from Toney. I think that cut could be a factor, Rich.
Yes, it could, and it looks to me as though it's bothering Rahman a little bit psychologically in this round. He's pawed at it a couple times. He complained to Ray Corona about it. I think he's aware of it.
Toney trying to walk down Rahman.
Again pawing.
Good right hand from Toney. And a left and a right to the body. Rahman's letting Toney fight his fight, and that's the difference right now.
And Rahman's going to have to gather himself. He said today, this is a must win for me. I could never convince myself that I'm still a contender.
And I think that between the legs of Rahman clearly got his attention. And I think your point's well taken that that eye is bothering him.
He's clearly concerned about it, and Toney's punches are having more effect than our Rahman's.
And Rahman again allowing Toney to be where Toney wants to be. Big round for James Toney. And the doctor is in the ring, and I believe they're going to stop this fight because of the cut. But they will not yet go to the cards.
James Toney thinks he has won. He has not won. They ruled that fight an accidental headbutt. James Toney thinks he has the victory, but I don't believe that he has, because we checked with Ray Corona, the referee, before the bell for the round. He said it was caused by an accidental headbutt. Hasim Rahman was saying between the round, telling the doctor that he could not see clearly, and the ref just said, then the fight's over.
No decision.
This fight is going to go into the books as a no contest or no decision.
That's right.
And I think we're going to probably have to see James Toney and Hasim Rahman do it a third time.
Well, this was a good go so far. There was no question about it. Both fighters came in here ready to fight. And it's a shame. You hate to see something like that happen in a fight like this. Here's another look at it.
All right, we're going to see now, because Rahman claims it was a headbutt, and here they come, and there you see Toney coming down from underneath, and Rahman immediately complaining about it. And you'll see the cut open as a result of that headbutt. It was a deep cut, Barry, and it was going to bother him. And we thought he was being bothered in that last round. You could see that it was doing something to Rock.
He is saying that he still can't see out of that eye. The cut, as you see, is above the brow, well above the brow.
It was a very deep cut, and this is a very disappointing end to this bout. But it wasn't the cut, it was the vision, apparently, that Rahman was complaining about.
The fight was stopped by the ring physician, and he did it. I thought he did it in really good fashion. He was no nonsense. He made the decision very quickly. I think it's the right decision in this case.
Well, it's a clear headbutt. I mean, and when it's called immediately by Roy Corona. Now you see Dr. Paul Wallace in the corner. He says, no, the fight's over, because he was talking to Rahman. He was asking Rahman the questions, and Rahman said, I can't see clear. And the doctor went in to confirm that again. He says, you can't see? He goes, I can't see clear, and that was it. And he goes, then the fight's over.
It will go down as a no-decision fight. I'm sure that we will see it again.
James Toney, his immediate reaction was he thought he had a TKO victory. Not a TKO victory, and now James Toney realizes, and you can see the disappointment on James' face. It's written all over him. I thought that he was getting on top in that third round, Barry, and he had landed several clean punches. But again, I thought psychologically, Rahman was being bothered by it. He was concerned about it, and it was throwing his game off in that third round.
No, I think that's exactly right. I think Toney was starting to take control of the fight. Let's get a comment from Jay Glazer. Glaze, how do you see it?
Well, guys, James Toney clearly upset, thought he had won the fight, is not happy. He actually thinks that Hasim Rahman had bailed out of this. He thinks that Hasim Rahman had used this as an excuse. Obviously, this was a doctor stoppage. That's official. The cut, we can see it's a nasty cut. Blood spilling into Hasim Rahman's eyes. We'll hear from Toney and Rahman here in a second.
I'm not sure what the judges' scores will reflect, Barry. I think the second round was the one that was in question. First round seemed to clearly belong to Rahman. Third round seemed to clearly belong to Toney. Second round could have gone either way.
No, I think that's right. Now, Toney feels that Rahman quit. I don't think that's absolutely not true. That's an emotional reaction on the part of James Toney. You can see the cut. It is a nasty cut. It would have affected the outcome of the fight. That said, Toney was starting to dictate the fight, even though we were only in the fourth round. We're coming back. We'll wrap this up on the other side of this. All right, we're going to go up to Jimmy Levin Jr. in a moment and get the decision. All kinds of consternation. Rich, what do you know?
Right now, there's a controversy over whether Rahman retired in his corner or whether the doctor stopped it. Because originally, Ray Corona, the referee, came over and said to us, the doctor stopped it. It's no decision. But now there's a controversy over whether or not Rahman actually retired before the doctor stopped the fight.
All right, let's listen into the corner now and see what happened between rounds and the dialogue between Rahman and the ring physician. Here it is.
That was a headbutt, wasn't it? Yes. Yes. I couldn't see that either. It's not clear.
Well, far be it for me to pass judgment, but it looked to me like the doctor was the one that stopped the fight, not Rahman.
But if they say Rahman stopped the fight, then Toney will win.
Well, which I believe will be the decision. Here's Jimmy Lennon.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the end of round number 3. A referee in charge, Ray Corona, stops the contest upon advice of our ringside physician, who received information from Rahman that he could not see out of his left eye. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this bout is ruled a technical knockout in favor of the winner and new NABO heavyweight champion, James Lights Out Toney.
Now here's a big surprise for you. It's a boxing match, and there's a controversy. Who would have thought that?
They're a little nonplussed, as you might imagine, over in Rahman's corner.
Well, I think they should be. If it was caused by an accidental headbutt, whether or not the fighter says I can't see or not, the decision is that, not of the fighter, but of the ring physician. And when he comes in there, that's the decision that he has to make. Let's go back to set. Chris, how'd you guys see this?
All right, Barry, thank you. Chris Bird, I'm not exactly a boxing aficionado, but I saw Dr. Paul Wallace in the corner go kind of like this. Man can't see. Stop the fight. What did you see?
That's what the doctor did. I mean, he stopped the fight. I mean, people on the moon seen that it was a headbutt. Everybody in mama seen it. Come on, it was a headbutt. It should have been a draw. I mean, it should have been no contest. Come on, it's crazy.
It wasn't a headbutt. It was just the thing from the Fantastic Four.
So listen, we know that's accidental, right?
Right.
Chris, that's an accidental headbutt.
That's an accident. It was.
And when Rahman says, "I cannot see out of my eye," what is the doctor to do?
He stopped the fight. The doctor stopped the fight. Rahman said, "I couldn't see."
So why is this a third-round TKO?
I have no idea.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bird.
Welcome to the world of
appreciate
boxing.
Let's go back into the middle of the ring. Jay Glazer is with the victorious James Lights Out Toney. Glaze?
James, you got a little scare there at first. At first you thought, obviously, it was a no decision. You got some other information that, in fact, it was that he retired at his seat. First of all, give us your reaction to winning the belt here.
Hey, first of all, I want to thank everybody, thank the man upstairs who made me come back and achieve what I've done. I want to thank everybody at the 360 Health Club where I train at. I want to thank my promoter, Dan Goose. We back, baby. We run this stuff. We're going to run it. I'm the best heavyweight in the world, period, hands down.
Now, they were saying that the cut was not big enough to stop the fight, that instead Hasim Rahman, he stepped out, he stopped the fight. When you saw the cut, what did you think?
But it was an accidental headbutt, but you know what, like I said, if it was me, I would have continued to fight, but you know, that shows you what kind of heart he got. You know, he's looking for any way out. And first of all, they looking for a way out when they signed the contract, when they saw me, how good shape I was at the press conference. They really didn't want to do it, but they were forced in the situation where Dan said, whoever win this fight, hey, sky's the limit. And like I said, if I was him, I put my balls on and keep fighting.
Considering how much work you put into this fight, your training camp that you talked to me about, the diet, which, by the way, you can now go eat after this, Is this a disappointing way to win?
It's a disappointing way to win because I wanted to knock him out because I was on my way. I was winning down. I wouldn't knock him out within 7 rounds. Like I told everybody in my camp. I said he won't go 7 rounds, but you know, hey, it is what it is. You know, like we back, Deuce to the lights out boxing, we back on top of the world, baby. I want to thank everybody back at home in Detroit, my cousin Brooke, and my moms, my grandmother, everybody. I love y'all.
Daniel, so you were standing over there. You were standing over there when the decision. At first, we got word that it was going to be a no contest. When it was changed, tell us what happened over there with the California State Athletic Commission and the doctors.
Well, the key thing, you've already gone over it, Jay, is that Rock actually said that he couldn't see and he couldn't go on. So at that point, that was the determination to stop the fight, not because of the cut. Now, obviously, we'll take a win any way we can, but James had a great 3rd round. You saw that he hurt Rock, and I think that had a lot to do with it. Bottom line is that I think James would have stopped him regardless.
Would you guys like to do this one again, or would you like to move on to somebody else?
Hey, Don King, Don King, me and Dan Goose, we got the best heavyweight in the world. Quit hiding them bombs from me. You know you got a stable full of bombs, Don King, and anybody else that want to fight me, Sam Peters, you will see me again. I promise you that. Klitschko, you're a bum, and your sister Vitalia. Come see me, baby.
James Toney, always at a loss for words. Chris, back to you with the set, buddy.
Thank you. Good to see that James has regained his vocabulary. He was a little quiet in our meetings earlier today, but he's nice and chatty right about now. I don't know what to think here, guys. It certainly looked like the doctor stopped the fight. Congratulations to James, who looked solid in the 3 rounds. Looked like he was getting stronger as the fight went on. Well, he did, Chris. He did. He looked stronger.
It's 3 rounds. Come on.
So it's not enough of a sample pool.
It's not enough. It's not enough, to really see how he was going to do.
Okay, but he was on his way. He seemed to be getting
stronger. He just doesn't want to give it to him. He was hitting him. You said he doesn't hit that hard. I understand. He was hitting them, and then what happened?
All right. Well, let's find out what happened from Hasim Rahman's point of view. He is with Jay Glazer. Glaze?
All right, thanks, guys. Rock, obviously a lot of confusion after the fight. Tell us what you think about the decision. They say that the cut wasn't deep enough to stop the fight, that instead you said, no, I can't continue. I can see. I don't feel like it's splitting out on me either.
Can y'all see this cut? The cut was deep. Blood was streaming into my eyes. My vision was so blurred in the 3rd round. If you notice the first 2 rounds, he didn't even hit me with the right hand. All of a sudden, after he accidental headbutts me, he started catching me with punches I don't see. So, of course, with everything I have on the line, and I have everything to lose, that I'm not going to try to fight James Toney with one eye. It's bad enough I'm on Goose and Promoter's show. I'm in California, his backyard. I got everything against me. The guy headbutted me. What else he want? And look at this cut. Look how many right hands he hit me with before I got cut. Ridiculous. Come on, man. Everybody know this was some home cooking, and me, Top Rank, Bob Arm, Todd DeBuck, we're going to appeal this because this should have been a no decision. It didn't go 4 rounds. It was an accidental headbutt. And why did he want me to fight with one eye? It's ridiculous. This is the worst damn decision, period.
Well, again, their thought process was that if the fighter retires there because he can't see, that's where the decision is.
Why couldn't I see?
Again, that's what they're claiming.
Accidental headbutt. Because the blood was streaming in my eye. I couldn't even see his punches. He started hitting me with right hands. I'm saying, whoa, where did this come from? He hitting me with shots I don't see. So what do you want me to do? Tell him I can see everything? And when I can't? Come on now, that's bogus. That's bogus.
The rule is very, very clear. The rule is so clear, there's no question in our minds that this verdict is going to be overturned. This is a travesty of justice. We will be filing an appeal immediately. We're going to file with the California State Athletic Commission. We're going to file with the NABO.
You are obviously Hasim Rahman's manager. Tell me, what did they tell you? What did the CSAS tell you?
What they're saying is that Rock said he couldn't go on. Rock would
say that.
Well, that's what they're saying. That's the implication they're saying. The doctor went in to check, and the doctor asked how Rock was, and he said he couldn't see because of the accidental
I told him
headbutt.
my eye was extremely blurry. It was blood in my eyes. Even when they was working on my eye, it was still fuzzy to me. So, James Toney is a hell of a fighter. I'm not going to very well fight him with one eye unless I have to. You understand? If he hit me with a punch,
so be it. I would just go for broke.
And your contention is that it's an accidental headbutt, so it should be a no contest.
Y'all people seeing this fight, people seeing the replays, they can judge for themselves. They know he don't deserve to wear that belt no more than he deserves to wear a Gucci belt, Prada belt, no other belt. He don't belong with that title right now. He didn't earn it. He didn't win it. This was a gift on a Goosen promoted card in his backyard, and I went against all the odds. I came in his backyard, and I was clearly dominating him the first 2 rounds. The third round, when the blood started streaming in my eyes, then he got off a few shots. I give him the third round, but he clearly didn't win the fight. Clearly didn't win it. And the rules say if you get a technical accidental butt or something like that before the 4th round, you go to the scorecard. What is this? They making up stuff for Toney.
And what they
trying to remix Toney. This is ridiculous.
All right, I appreciate it there, Hasim, and hopefully maybe we can do this thing again and have this thing go a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, they won't be here in California.
All right, Chris, back to you.
Guys, a very open and honest Hasim Rahman. Maybe next time he has one of those, he should get another goiter on his head, and that way it can be big enough.